Hey, good evening, Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope. And we tonight we got our friend, a friend of the show, contributor to the show. We're going way back in the crates with this one. We got we got Brown Girl Boston joining the show. It's been a while since she's been on the show. For those that never really watched the shows or new to the channel or new to the platform, Drea has been here since the beginning, since this thing started. It's been a lot going on in her personal life and professional life. A lot of things. It's all good. We're going to discuss some things in regards to mental wellness and balance. Anybody that's in the chat that would like to join in the chat, ask us some things about mental wellness and balance, as well as some other things that she had addressed before. We're going to rehash and rediscover and talk about how some of the things that she explained in the show on numerology actually has came into fruition. She's not saying she's a prophet, but she's saying that reading the numbers told her some things that was going to be revealed and how those things came to fruition. What's up, Brown Girl Boston? What's going on?
What's up, Q? What's up, Q? What's up, family? I'm happy to be back, and a lot has transpired since the last time I was on.
Yes, it's been a minute. It's been a minute. So we're gonna start with your new position at your alma mater. Let's discuss that. The audience don't know you graduated from HBCU, Tuskegee University, and now you've been rewarded with a job at Tuskegee University. How did that come to fruition?
So, I actually been watched by the chair, the director of social work program there. So she's been watching me, and then kept in contact with folks there. I was actually the keynote speaker for the BSW pinning ceremony this past graduation, and so they was like, okay, and mind you, I didn't tell anyone. I had actually they kept telling me you should apply for an adjunct position because I was just gonna do adjunct and teach a few classes and go about my life. But they was like, nah, we want you to come in as a director of field education. So what does that mean for the audience? It means that I'm pretty much over the internship. So making sure that my future Black social workers are, getting everything that they need at the internship. And I'm also the assistant professor. So that's big.
Wow,
I don't have a PhD. I have my master's and a master's degree in social work as terminal. So I end up, I feel blessed because I didn't have to go through jumping through hoops to get a job. I just have to interview and they said you got it. So it's I'm thankful. I'm very blessed to go back to my alma mater to something prestigious and that I can help train, future Black social workers. For those who don't
great,
know, I have my license. I'm a licensed social worker. So, I've been in the field for 14 years. So I'm just very thankful, just to be
great,
back.
great. That's that energy. Keep that energy going. So we're aware. Most people don't aren't aware that you also have your own podcast and you have your own uh, show channels, Facebook page. Let the audience know a little bit about that because I know you don't like to really talk about yourself on other people's platforms, but sometimes people need to know aware what's going on and how we all link up with each other.
Right. Definitely. So I have a blog/blog called Brown Girl from Boston. And so I started it about 6 years ago when I was living back on the East Coast. For you guys may or may not know, I live in Alabama now. Um, so I actually started it when I was experiencing on the job racism. And so I like up and left. I was a director of programs at this point in time. So I up and left and started my blog just for like healing purposes because I really needed to heal from like the racism I've been dealing with. So that's that. Been running that for 6 years. I talk about from racism on down to relationship issues, so whatever the case is. And then I talk about numerology and my journey to that, and we'll talk about that too. Um, then I have my that's my coaching business too. So I do coaching, and then I have my careerist project with my homegirl Shamika Moore. So we are, a life coach and career coach came together and started this program for Black women during COVID. So we actually started last year, but we started doing two free group coachings for 6 weeks because a lot of our clients were out of work. A lot of them was on the front line. And so we talked about all the from grieving all the way to what's your plan, post COVID. So that's www.careersproject.com. And I do a lot of things, but I also rest. I have balance. So which we're gonna talk about too, because you have to have balance, to really restore and do God's work. Or, whoever you serve in life, whether it's Allah, Buddha, whoever, you have to have that balance to keep moving forward.
One of the things that like I said, Drea has been on the show numerous of times. If you go on YouTube, you'll see that she's probably been on the show at least 7 or 8 times. We talked about various subjects, and actually, Drea was the first person that Let's Talk ever, no, the second person that Let's Talk ever interviewed. How we met and stuff like that. We discussed that. But Drea had gave us a talk, I think, in February in reference to numerology. I know that a lot of people are religious, a lot of people are spiritual, and they might not believe in numerology. They might think it's being a psychic or stuff like that. But one of the things that Drea discussed during the numerology session that we had was revealing what this year was going to bring. Not revealing specific events, but this was before the COVID had actually hit, and she was saying how this year was going to be a cleansing, a lot of things that were going to be revealed to each other as individuals, and we were going to see it in mass. And I guess that kind of came into fruition.
Yeah, it did. I mean, like, I'm thankful that we made it to like what's this September going into October.
Hmm.
But I want everyone to like take a look into their own lives and see what have been revealed, far as with friendship wise, relationship wise. What have you had to clear out from your system? And I think this year was a year to like not only for clarity, but sit your behind down and really get your mind right, because a lot of us have been just on the go, flying from the seat of our pants, and not really thinking about what is my actual plan and how do I grieve. Because I don't know about you all, I have lost loved ones, to COVID. Family, friends, like friends from that know me when my mom was pregnant with me. So, it's been a very tough season to deal with the revealing, the betrayal, because you probably have some folks who have betrayed you. I know I have. The toxicity of yourself, because, we can be toxic too. And I think a lot of times we always like to look at other folks. What you've been tolerating, because like I thought about it, I was like, I've been tolerating a lot of nonsense and I'm way better than that. And so, I'm not a prophetess, as Q say. The numbers was there, and then also too, I had got two readings done in 2019. Was like, yo, this was about to happen in your life, and I had to do a lot of inner work, a lot of letting go of folks, a lot of like boundaries, and things have been really working out in my favor. But also too, I had to let go and let the higher being take care of stuff, because a lot of times we want to control what goes on. And, sometimes you get out of control. Chaos happens before like the peace. Chaos is happening. So this is cleansing out so many other things.
One of the things that COVID has brought us is that, like you said, I lost some family members in the last 5 6 months as well. Three, and another host of good friends, and you might as well say they were extended family. One of the things when you're dealing with socializing and not being able to be social is just what we would consider a minor hug, and not being able to just hug people. We're affectionate people. Human beings were created to socialize with each other, and intermingle, whether you black, white, Christian, Muslim, Jewish. People have That's one of the things that children learn in school is to socialize. So dealing with mental wellness, what do you think? Do you think that a lot of people don't realize like they're going through depression during this time of COVID?
I think a lot of people don't realize it because maybe they've been going through it chronically. And they're like, well, this is just another day. Right. And then some people also mask it through self medication, or they mask it. I think Michelle Obama said this in like her podcast, like it's low grade depression. No, depression is depression in my field. Like,
Hmm.
when we crack open a DSM-5, we don't say, oh yeah, it's low grade depression. No, depression is depression, anxiety is anxiety. So I think a lot of times people have been on autopilot. And let's talk facts. Only 30% of African Americans go seek professional help.
Mm,
30%. Because either A, they live in areas in which they don't have the accessibility, maybe because of white supremacy. White we have over 70% of white women in social work, that, look at them, well, you're lazy, you're this and you're that. Secondly, I'm gonna have to. Y'all may not be my friend after this. Your family telling you to pray it away. You can't pray away mental health. Now you can intersect it with clinical help. That's dope because that's gonna keep you grounded. That's gonna keep you moving forward and having faith in something outside of yourself. That's purpose. So our family, we have to work on that stigma of mental health. And that doesn't mean you're crazy because a lot of times people are like, well, you're going to therapy, you're crazy. No, you just have to have some type of navigation to navigate your life so you won't go to the next level of homicide ideation or suicide ideation. And which that's on a rise in black children and black people. A lot of black children, especially teenagers, are killing themselves because they feel like there's no way out of COVID or wearing this mask or remote learning. And then we're talking about remote learning. You talking about parents who probably can't read and write, can't even comprehend, probably was diagnosed with a learning disorder. We don't take that in consideration. So who is assisting them when it comes to remote learning?
mm,
Um, I do remote learning on a higher level, on the college level, but even them need their hands held. And a lot
yeah,
of times I have to do a lot of empathy, a lot of compassion, a lot of just where you at? I didn't see you in class today. And mind you, this is like my first full month of really teaching. So this is the time to really be gentle with people. And also too know when to be like, I gotta turn up on this person too. So you gotta have a balance with that. So that's what I'm seeing the trend in mental health, especially in black folks. Is just the lack of accessibility and trust too. That's why I went into, back into academia to train more black social workers because we don't have that many. We only have like 20%. So, if you're going into a situation or a mental health facility and you're only seeing white clinicians, how are they really going to exercise cultural competency or empathy when they living comfortably and COVID's not affecting their community like it's affecting ours and affecting, Hispanics. So,
yeah.
we have to really take that in consideration.
One of the things that I had, I was essential worker, so I kind of know. I was able to work during the whole time of COVID, fortunately, and I know that a couple years ago I had went through a change in my job where I went to days, working nights, went to days. Hours got a little tricky, and just sitting around in the house all day for me was a little. It was a test, and I'm quite sure like a lot of people are going through it. Like, what would you suggest a person do? Like, they may not realize they're going through depression or having a mental breakdown. They sitting around watching the news, being depressed, and we know how the news is, but they don't. A person may not understand that the news is there to program you, So
Mhm.
now you're taking in all this energy, all this information that may not be good for your wellness. What would you suggest that a person does? Like someone just did a basic thing to unplug, sure to say.
I definitely said go outside for 15 minutes. I know that sounds very basic. Go outside and let the sunlight hit you. I know we're going into fall. I think we are in fall already. So people are now experiencing SAD, seasonal affective disorder, which is another mental health issue that's seasonal. But go outside and just let the fresh air hit you. Not saying you gotta put your mask on. I know so many people live in the city, and you may not can go on your balcony, but just go outside and take a walk to get out your house because sitting in those four walls can drive you crazy. Click, click, click on the TV or even on your phone is driving you crazy because you're seeing more trauma. We just experienced more trauma with the indictment of the non-indictment of the police officers killing Breonna Taylor. So when you see that all the time, that's secondary trauma. That's another trauma, another layer that you are, really visibly seeing. And then now you're even more depressed because you're like, oh man. And it's a cycle. So go outside and disconnect. Also tell people to find something to laugh at every day. Laugh at yourself, laugh at someone else. Find something to laugh at and find joy. What's like that one thing that's gonna bring you joy every day, whether you going through it or not? And I think so many times we miss the mark on that. It's like no, like you don't have to be laughing, like hysterically, but find something that's gonna make you laugh, that's gonna make you even cry. When's the last
Yeah.
time you cried? And I think a lot of times people don't cry. Like people try to hold it in, like, oh, I'm good, I'm stoic. No, sometimes you need to do the ugly cry because yeah, we are going through it. And you're going through a healing process, you're going through a grief process, especially if you lost family members, friends, whoever.
Even when you mentioned that your family you can't pray away your depression. I don't think a lot of people understand that, having um let's just say religious, having a religious structure, having a spiritual base, but then understanding your mental wellness within your belief and all that. Um, what do you think a person should do? Like, maybe they might read the scripture. Maybe they might be prayed out. Like, the prayers aren't. A lot of times it happens. The prayers aren't being answered when the person that's praying expect them to be answered. And then you got the mental health issue, like the anxiety,
Hmm.
the irritability, the weight gain. They might get on the scale and be like, "Hold up, since COVID, I done gained 15 pounds." Um, do you think that a person needs to just try to just slow down and detach?
Mm, that's a good question. And I heard something about detachment today. Um, I say yes in a way. People need to slow down. People need to slow down on social media. People need to slow down with the work. When you working from home, you can easily put in 12 hours, like easy, like answering emails. I know, like my students be emailing me. I'm like, yo, there's a cutoff point, and they know I'm not gonna talk to you till tomorrow unless it's life or death. Then call 911. But you should have a cutoff point and detach yourself from devices. I think devices is our main thing because people are lonely and they're gonna get attention. What social media is the new currency. So anytime you put on anything nefarious, half naked, whatever the case is, of course you're gonna get the likes and you're gonna get the dopamines going and like, well, I'm gonna keep going, and then you sit in the house, man, why no one's not pinging my phone or notifications? Then you start getting depressed. So start, detaching yourself from devices. Connect with people like me and my homegirl. Even though she lives in Rhode Island, like we talk on the phone all the time. We do FaceTime and we like find stuff to laugh at. We share memes
Hmm.
and stuff like that. So, even just having conversations with your family members, because a lot of people are having divorces, they're breaking up because they're like, damn, I gotta be in the house with this. You know what? I
Yeah.
don't know this dude. I don't know sis. And then you got to get to know them. And then I'm seeing people getting tired of their kids. Don't do that because your kids ain't asked to be here. Okay. Y'all all in the same situation together. So show more compassion to your children during remote learning because the teachers, trust me, they putting in so much work just to make sure that your children are being equipped to reach the next level in their life.
I know that's one of the you can share with the audience about your experience. I know a couple months ago we had linked up and you was like, "Yo, I'm not doing no social media right now." Explain how with your career, with your platforms, everything is ran through social media. And how was it for you to take a week off, and like were you able to really like s- hone in on what was more important? Explain that.
So when I did my media break, and I think we had a show right after that, and I said I miss it,
Yeah.
whatever. So with the careers project, I'm thankful that I have a dope sister friend that's like, yo, can you handle whatever we got going on? I got you. And she's like, yeah, I got you. And shortly, she took a social media break, and I handled that piece. With Brown Girl from Boston, I'm solo dolo. So what I do is I call it my tribe to do a social media break too. And usually they're like, yeah, Drea, cool. Like we all gonna do this together and we do it, and then we come back and talk about our experience. Like you said, everything is connected to social media. So sometimes you have to like have like a challenge for your tribe members. Like, hey, I'm tired. Let's do like a social media break and make it like a challenge. And then do a giveaway or something cool, like a self care giveaway or something like that. Because it's needed. Because we shouldn't have to be like, oh, we gotta do radical self care. Self care is essential. Number one, you have to take care of yourself first, and always being on these devices, especially when you seeing black bodies being shot, kill. It's like a rotating like cycle that really messes with your mental health because now you
and
thinking,
and
oh
and
man,
then
this can't happen to me.
you'll even hear many of us saying, "I expected that." Like we've been desensitized to it now,
Right.
and politics are gaining off of black trauma.
Exactly. And it's
Whether
big business.
whether which side is, you're right, is big business. Do you ever feel like it's funny when you mentioned about the 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 social media thing? It's like you doing the when your phone start running slow and you got to clean your cache and shut down all your apps. Well, that really does happen. It's like your body, your mind is overwhelmed with so many things, and you can't focus on the one thing. Then you start slipping at work. You be like, yo, I just did all this work, and I didn't have to do all this work.
Yes.
Or work may seem like it's boring, and it's like, yo, I love my job. How did the work get boring? I know also one of the things, and you should share with the audience, because I think that a lot of people don't realize how simplistic it is you started a garden.
Yep. I started a garden, and that was the best thing that I ever did in my life. Why I say that? Because I'm already a cool, calm, collected person. Um, and I already had working out on. I was like, okay, I work out. I want to grow my own food. That was my challenge. And, I have my home. And then I was like, I got all this space to like grow my own garden. So I started that and start like really producing food to the point like I'm canning. I'm like canning stuff for my parents and like, hey, when my dad come up and visit for like the holidays, I'm like, oh, like I got these the pepper sauce ready for you. So that's a big accomplishment. I failed in certain areas, but it's my first full year of gardening. And I can sit back and say, yo, look at the fruit of my labor that I've done. And it's really therapeutic. Like, it's so therapeutic when I'm like, yo, I'm at my wit's end and want to throw my computer because I have those days. Or, yo, I'm grading like 30 pages of paper and APA style. I'm like, I'm going to check on my garden. So that has been the best thing I have done in 2020 was grow my garden, and I suggest everyone do that. I got like 45 house plants, and it keeps it keeps your air circulating. It keeps your air really like amazing in your house. It helps you sleep better. I'm a person, I can hit the pillow and sleep fine. I don't need no devices to put me to sleep. And another thing I picked up too was back up meditation. I
Mm.
meditate every day, and I was doing it every Friday. In a group meditation, this young black lady was hosting group meditation, so I started doing that because life was closing in on me because I'm working from home. I go upstairs, I'm at home in the kitchen in my bedroom, and you start getting tiring. Like, yo, everything is at the crib. So I gotta find outlets and stuff or go within to find the peace. And I started meditating and I started doing jump rope challenges, like because I was like, I'm not going to the gym because I don't want to deal with COVID. So, gym is like I think level 9. And so I said, well, I'm gonna do jump rope challenge, like do body weight challenges and stuff like that. And it's been working, it's been really helping me clear my mind. So you just have to go back to basic. I'm a simple person. I live a simple life. And I think a lot of times we try to like live this unreasonable, unrealistic life. Just go back to basics.
So let me ask you a lot of because a lot of people it is from that northeast, and you living in Alabama. How was the climate different from trying to have a farm up north compared to that humidity down there and the air is thick, so to say? Did you go through any drastic changes with a garden from up here and the garden down there?
Well, I never tried in New England because I was living in an apartment. And then, living in New England where the snow is ridiculous, I was like, no. And I wasn't interested at that point in time because I knew like I didn't want to settle my roots, like literally and figuratively there. So I didn't try. I had house plants, no doubt. But I was noticing that my house plants wasn't getting the attention that they are now. I have natural light, and like with the climate more warmer, like I love okra, so I grow okra like this. Like I can blink my eyes and I have like harvest mad okra. Now I'm growing cabbage, collard greens and stuff like that. Cause yeah, I'm a city girl, but also I have southern roots. So I'm like, if I can grow all that stuff, then I'm gonna do it. And plus too, living in New England, it affected my mental health and my physical
Mm,
health
mm,
badly.
mm.
I think I was having seasonal depression, and then because I never wanted to live back in New England, number one, and I started noticing that I lived in Chicago for a bit too. And if you ever lived in the Midwest, it's kind of similar to New England. The snow would kill me. I'm like, yo, I can't do this snow. And then like getting dark at 5 p.m. Then you gotta like have like a special like North Face coat. I was like, I can't do this. So when I was living in New England, I was affected badly by my mental health, and I just didn't want to be there. It wasn't a place for me to be there. Living here in Alabama, and I know people like, oh my God, Bama. I have like an acre of land that I can do what the I want to do.
Yeah,
And like I can sit on my deck and like be in peace because I'm like surrounded by, nature. So, it really has been a 180, living down south. And a lot of people are leaving in droves to come to the south because people are tired of hustling bustle
yeah.
and up
It's
north.
it's interesting because I think that a lot of people that live in the big cities and definitely that northeast corridor area tend to feel like we're gonna miss something when we move. I mean, I I live by a couple miles away from a lot of farms myself, and it's just a different vibe. It's a different atmosphere. The intermingling, the socialization that I do with people is just it's just a lot different than the city. Everybody's on edge. Um, even where I live at, not saying that nobody's not taking COVID seriously, but everybody wears a mask in the store.
Mm-hmm.
But outside the store, you wouldn't even know what was going on. So everybody kind of like heightens their respect up for their fellow human being,
Right.
and it's just like how you doing? Everybody's real courteous. It's just it's an interesting dilemma. So let's talk. Let's go back to the numbers thing, like because I'm always intrigued with that stuff, and you should let everyone know in the chat how to that you do readings.
Yes.
Um, Let them give them your email information and how you do a reading and how, to email you how you do charge for your readings because nothing is free. Your expertise in this field.
Right.
Um, so have you been doing your numbers?
I have been doing my numbers. I have. I've been following every month of what I should be doing. And then on top of that, I'm gonna give you another secret. I got before I end up getting my job at Tuskegee, I had got another reading done. totally different from numerology, and it has been eerie on point with my numbers because I'm in my personal year 9. So, numbers go from 1 to 9. So, I have been told this is the year to clean up my ish, uh,
Yeah,
people out my life, cleansing things that I no longer need. And I've been following it every month. And then with certain months, it was like, yo, this is going to be the career change month. And when I'm telling you, it happened like this, whether I wanted to hold on to it or not, because I was going to hold on to my other position, because I was working with college students in my other position, and it just when I before I even got the offer in the tenure track, like, okay, you got the offer, like I already typed up my resignation letter. It was like peace, even with mental health, because it says check your mental health, because being a my birthday's on the 13th. 4 rules mental health. That's one sign that can be deliberating for people who was born on the
yeah,
4, 13, 22, 31st, because we are givers, and we will give our last to folks, and then we end up here like, who's gonna help me? And then we end up
yeah.
going to depression.
We
And
we
I was
we, we emotionally bankrupt.
yes, exactly. But like, yes, I'll help you. So I noticed I was doing that up until like I'll say July. July was the moment. I don't know. Like my brother came down. Like my folks had came over. We had like a nice family thing, and I was like, "Yo, this ain't the move. I gotta reestablish some boundaries." And from July to now, I had to really set some boundaries with folks. And I've been noticing my mental health has been getting better because I wasn't taking on other people's ish. Because
Do
I'm,
you
I'm
do you ever do you ever feel? Excuse me. Wow, I'm tripping. Do you ever do you ever feel like, yo? I know what the numbers are saying to me, but like, how driven you can be, like, your drive and what you're trying to do, what you're trying to accomplish, and the numbers is telling you cleanse, slow down, take that break, and so forth. So on. You have someone in the chat that needs your information in reference to numbers. Is
okay.
that whoever's in the chat? Is that I can't see who you are. She'll definitely give you information. Is that you need her information in reference to
Email.
numbers in the reading? Because it's important because when she does a reading, it's very personal, so she doesn't like to discuss too much over social media.
Then I get
Oh, I
time.
know what it is. I know what it is.
Okay.
I'll give you her information.
Okay. Cool. Cool.
All
Cool.
right, I'll give you the information. But so, how do you feel about that? Like when you see, like, yo, my numbers is saying this, but I'm pushing because we just discussed that. Remember, like,
Yep.
our numbers are the same. Um, and then I discussed some stuff with you, and it's like, you know me. Like, you tell a person that got our numbers, no, we only gonna go harder 10 times more. Like we feeling, sort of like we feeling a void,
Right.
and it's like, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to detach myself? Because I've ran across that myself. I ran
Mm.
across to it being like, you know what? Okay, I'm trying to build a platform. I know that I'm not building a platform by myself, and I'm thankful for everybody that has helped me, that's helping me with the journey. And it's important that because it's a lot that goes on with this, and then you run into them roadblocks, and you be like, yo, I need to detach from all of this for a couple of days. But then remember what we discussed. You start detaching from it, but then you get in the energy that you've been asking for starts coming your way.
Yep.
And you like, hold up, I got more opportunities that's open up. I gotta seize the moment. And it's like you push it, it's like you're pushing people to see in themselves what you see in them,
Mhm.
so to say. How do you deal with that? Like, how do you remedy that type of stuff going on with our numbers?
Um. Well, when I see that and when I feel it, like I'm there, I'm definitely tapping more into my intuitive nature. I have to be like, yo, whatever. I gotta slow down because if I'm on E, I'm not good to nobody. Um, and I notice like when I have been on E, that's when I have my meltdowns. And I'm like, yo, I can't do this. And then, like I said, with fours, we're intellectual people, so we gotta always have that clarity. We always gotta clear out this. We always gotta clear out that mental because if we don't, we gonna have a meltdown. But like, F it, I'm abandoning everything. Um, and I noticed that, and I've been paying more attention. I said, "Yo, okay, I gotta do that," because I noticed it was like a few weeks ago. Like I had overloaded my plate. I ain't gonna lie, and I remember driving to my mom's house, and I had went in. And usually I'm like very, and my mom's like, "What's wrong?" And I just started crying because I was just so exhausted and fed up, and I was like, because I was taking on other people's ish and wasn't like, yo, you take it, you grown, you can deal with that. So since that moment too, I had to do a lot more shifting and a lot more time to have clarity. So that's why I spend a lot of time by myself. Um, I'm a lone wolf. I only have very few friends, and I have to have that time to myself because I have to clear my mental space and my emotional space too. And I'm tapping into that emotional space for myself because I know at times I could detach a lot. I could detach from people like, oh, I'm good, especially if I see you moving a certain way or you trying to take advantage of me. So, like I have to spend a lot of time to really, self reflect and be like,
Like
yo, this ain't the move.
that's another thing. Like you get to a point where you're detaching, but you're being so selfish with the energy that you want around you, and it's like, yo, I'm protecting my wellness, my space, the energy that I take on, and it's like you don't even realize like you're shutting your loved ones out, you're shutting your family out, and it's like, yo, you so focused on you, which is a good thing,
Hmm.
that you're not realizing like, yo, the people that care about you need you as well.
Right.
And it's like, yo, I ain't beat. I just want to focus on this. This is what I got going on. I'm working on these projects. I want to get these projects up the ground. I'm driven, studying, I'm working. You know how that goes. Like a lot of people don't understand, like, forget all the social media stuff. What you have to do just from a preparedness standpoint with presenting a platform like, yo, I want to do this.
Hmm.
A person may think, oh, all you do is post news articles. Me myself, I post a lot of news articles, but what people don't realize is I don't watch the news.
Right.
So
Right.
I have to get my information from literally both sides of the spectrum. I have to follow people on Twitter, right?
Hmm.
News figures on Twitter that I would never follow in my personal life.
Right.
Because now I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to follow these people. So I'm looking at all this information come in, figuring out what I'm present on my platforms with the help of everybody else. And then it's like, yo, I'm so focused on that, try to get the information out, that I'm not focused on like, yo, self care,
Hmm.
being able to socialize with family, sisters, brother. Like
Right.
my family, the situation, they don't really see me.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? I don't. I haven't really been around, so and
Right.
it's like, damn, I'm sacrifice. I'm saying I'm sacrificing
Hmm.
for what I'm trying to do, but at the end of the day, like you got to detach and go. You got to spend some time with yourself. You got to spend some time with family.
Right.
How do you balance that? Like you know how the numbers be. Like we be driven. That four is serious. Like, we be we we be driven. Like yo, I'm gonna work until I get tired, till I go to sleep, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna start my day off the same way.
Exactly. Exactly. So like I balance it this way to be honest with you. Like Fridays I spend time with my mother. Like that's me and my mom's time. It's always been like that since day one. Like my mom's like my homegirl for real. Like that's been since day one. And like every month like I see my dad. Either he comes to
Hmm.
my house, I go see him. Being married, that's still a struggle. Still trying to find time because our schedules are different. My husband and I schedules are different. And sometimes I wild out on him, like, why you pick this schedule? Whatever the case is. Um, and if like for instance, I went to Texas. When did I go to Texas? August. Cause my homegirl's moving there, and she's like, "Yo, you want to come out to Texas? This, down, and third." I was like, "Sure." So I'm one of them people too. I'm spontaneous. If I got the money and the time, I'll fly anywhere. With a mask on, of course. So I have to find a balance, and then also too, every day, either I'm reading something at night. um, every day I find time to exercise and do whatever. So I find a balance every day. Is it hard? Yeah, it's hard. It's definitely hard, especially spending time with, family. But I have those times built in. So even if I can't see, let's say my brother's still in Massachusetts, so I see him probably once or twice a year and his family. So, like it's just I have built in time to make sure like my family is good, I'm good. My projects I'm doing is good, and not really stress about it because I've been sick. I've been sick by being so a workaholic to the point I found myself being active, and then when I turned 30, and all of a sudden I'm bedridden, like legit,
Mm.
because I was pouring out my energy into everything, and no one was reciprocating that, and I had to say, "Yo, I can't do this anymore." So I have learned from that experience of being sick and going, and that's another thing before us. We'll be sick with all type of mysterious illnesses, but we'll bounce back.
Yeah, I just had a. It was funny. I just had a flare. I got gout, and I just had my first flare up of gout in like 2 years. And not that I stopped taking the medication. The diet didn't really make no drastic change,
Hmm.
but I think it was certain, you know, outside factors that played a part in it, as far as like not the proper amount of rest, um, definitely not drinking enough water.
Right.
So it's interesting. I believe that in order to have this type of balance, do you think that a lot of people with the COVID, with the social distancing, that they need to be careful? Because I do have a friend, he contributes to the show every now and then, with dealing with substances. Like a lot of people, like it's different to going out to a bar or to go socialize and have a drink or two. But then when you start having that drink or two at home, then it's like I went through that 6 pack in one night. I drank that whole bottle. Like it usually take
Yeah.
me 3 or 4 days to drink a bottle of wine. Now I'm drinking a bottle of wine per night, and it's the cheap stuff because I can't afford to keep paying $30, $40 for a bottle of wine. But I'm gonna
Exactly.
just get that $7. I might even I might even get some nitrate or something,
Right. Get
something,
some bones
something
for
real,
him.
yeah, something real cheap. But so how do you think that a person should handle that aspect when they really see themselves starting to slip and they may not believe in the fellowships of NA and AA? What,
Right.
what would you suggest like them to do?
Hmm. So that's a tough one. I would definitely say before you hit the bottle, like what is it? Is it what void are you feeling? Um, and what's something you can substitute? Like what's a hobby that you abandoned that you need to tap back into? Is it reading, video games, whatever the case is, but in moderation? And I think a lot of times, because I have homegirls like, yeah, before COVID, I'm drinking this bottle of what? A bottle a night? Like why? Because I'm not really a drinker. Like I'll have like a wine spritzer or whatever the case is, like once or twice a year. Like I'm not really a drinker, but you also gotta check the depression. Are you depressed? Like, what are you self medicating that you don't want to talk about? What is something you suffering in silence that the bottle is kind of healing, but it's also like bringing you down in a way if you dependent on it every day. So, I think a lot of times people are afraid to go within and really be like, yeah, I got some things I gotta sort out, but I'm gonna drink this wine every night for a nightcap. And then, let's think about the society we live in. It's cool to like have wine. It's cool to like drink, beer every day, all day. But these what they call it, media personalities not telling you they got a cut off. They're doing this to sell you a product. And you over here added on an addiction. And
Yeah,
then here
yeah.
goes, a detox. And to be honest with you, going to a detox facility or one of those facilities, it's like 30 G's a year. It's $30,000 just to enter into a detox facility. And who
See,
do you mainly see there? You
yeah,
don't see us there.
one of the things that I did right before COVID is I gave my son a whole bunch of weights. So when COVID hit, it was perfect. But what happened is I had to get him some more weights, and like you can't buy no weights. The gyms are just opening back up, but no stores got weights. I mean, if you
Hmm.
find some weights, even on Facebook Marketplace, the prices is going to be high. Most people are not going to sell them to you. So even the outlets like working out, having a lot of people got gyms in their garages or whatever if they
Hmm.
live in a home. A lot of those things aren't accessible. The Barnes
Right.
and Nobles stores ain't as open. Even the shopaholics. I'm quite sure. And what we've seen the numbers is Jeff Bezos has made a lot of money from Amazon during COVID.
Facts.
Um, so we, like you said, we do need to understand moderation in these times. But
Hmm.
I don't know. Do you have anything else for us? I mean, you could give us the information about the numbers, and I'm quite sure she will get in touch with you. I know it's kind
Yeah.
of late. You got a schedule down that way.
No, I just want everyone to like really protect yourself, protect your mental health, and don't suffer in silence. And I know a lot of people like, well, I can't afford, mental health. There's like free or a sliding scale mental health by tele medicine. There's one app that I tell my students to go to. It's called BetterHelp.com, and it's all telemedicine. So let's say if you're like, oh, I want a black therapist or a white therapist, like it will really match you up to like what do you need. So definitely check that out. But don't suffer in silence. That's the key thing. Like everything should be in moderation. Get the proper rest. Like I make sure I'm in bed by a certain time. I drink my water. Am I perfect? Hell no. I'm not perfect. I'm still working on myself. Like I'm in recovery from being a overachiever and a workaholic and a perfectionist. Which can be addicting within itself, right?
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
you just have to just check yourself and also too, like checking on your folks and find that one person you can vent to that's gonna be your support system. You don't need this whole what they call it, squad, because 9 times out of 10 they
Excuse
got
me.
their own issues going on too. So yeah, that's pretty much
Okay.
it.
Well, I'm gonna forward you her information, Drea, and
Okay.
I'm glad you could join us. I'm quite sure you're gonna be. We going into that winter time, and we already discussed that. So I'm quite sure you'll be on the show again soon, and definitely let me know what's going on with your projects and everything, so I could pass the word on. And appreciate you for joining the show.
Cool, cool, cool. Thanks for having me. Peace out, fam.
Thanks everybody that joined from the chat. Appreciate you guys. Once again, have a blessed night.